opening up my Birthdayland!
On November 18th, 1988, both Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse were set to celebrate their 60th birthdays. But because it was the 1980s, the main focus was on Mickey Mouse. Magic Kingdom planned to celebrate Mickey's birthday, at one point considering decorating the Carousel of Progress as a birthday cake in Tomorrowland. That plan was soon scrapped. An expansion to the park was decided to be built, located between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. The land would go through several name changes and rethemes between 1988 and its eventual closure in 2011. This is the history of Mickey's Birthdayland, Starland, and Toontown Fair. On June 18, 1988, the newest area of Magic Kingdom opened, Mickey's Birthdayland. The land was designed to celebrate Mickey Mouse's 60th birthday. The land could be accessed either from Fantasyland or via the new train station at the back of the land. The Walt Disney World Railroad received an overlay called Mickey's Birthdayland Express, with its own theme song and painted flats advertising the new land dotted around the railroad track. Inside Mickey's Birthdayland, guests could find flats representing Doug Berg for photo ops, and the Mouska Maze that only lasted a few years. The land had three main attractions: Mickey's house, where guests could see where Mickey lived; Grandma Duck's Petting Zoo, a classic petting zoo attraction; and Mickey's Hollywood Theatre, home to both a new stage show, where Minnie is planning on surprising Mickey for his birthday, and a Mickey Mouse meet and greet. Mickey's Birthdayland and the 60th birthday celebration would last from June 1988 until May 1990. Whilst Mickey's Birthdayland was only supposed to be a temporary offering to celebrate Mickey's 60th birthday, it was decided that the land would remain after the celebration. However, Mickey's Birthdayland was no longer a sufficient name, so the land was renamed to Mickey's Starland. The show at Mickey's Hollywood Theatre was also replaced due to its original birthday theme, replaced by Mickey's Magical TV World, later renamed Mickey's Starland Show, a show celebrating Disney Channel's Disney Afternoon TV shows. The other major addition from the transition of Birthdayland into Starland came to Grandma Duck's Petting Zoo, when a cow called Minnie Moo was added, whose spots formed a perfect hidden Mickey, making her a must-see in the land. When Mickey's Starland closed, Minnie Moo moved to Fort Wilderness, where she happily lived out the rest of her life. By 1996, the flat facades of Mickey's Starland were beginning to look stale, especially compared to Disneyland's Mickey's Toontown. As a result, Mickey's Starland closed on March 11, 1996, to be replaced by Mickey's Toontown Fair on June 29, 1996. When Mickey's Toontown Fair opened, the land was given the new backstory that it was where Mickey and Minnie's country homes were located, and where they and their friends would often go on vacation away from Mickey's Toontown. Where Mickey's Hollywood Theatre once stood, guests could find Minnie's country house, a Minnie Mouse version of Mickey House, located next door. The show tent that was home of Mickey's Starland show was repurposed to become the County Bounty Store and the Toontown Hall of Fame meet and greet location. With the closure of Mickey's Hollywood Theatre, a new meet and greet location for Mickey Mouse was designed called the Judge's Tent, accessed by walking through Mickey's country house and repurposing a tent that used to only show Mickey shorts. Across the street where some of the flat facades were, Donald's boat was added, a much smaller version of Mickey and Minnie's house. The final section of Mickey's Toontown was added by October 1st, 1996. Replacing Grandma Duck's Petting Zoo was the land's first ride, the Barnstormer at Goofy's Wiseacre Farm. The kids' first roller coaster replaced the petting zoo, but repurposed the building for the attraction's queue and station. Mickey's Toontown Fair would then remain largely the same until 2011. In 2009, Disney announced New Fantasyland, an update to the east section of Fantasyland replacing 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Mickey's Toontown Fair. Originally, Mickey's Toontown Fair was going to be replaced with Pixie Hollow and Dumbo the Flying Elephant, But after complaints from guests that the plans for New Fantasyland were too girl-focused, Pixie Hollow was scrapped. In 2011, a new version of the concept art was released, now showing Storybook Circus, completely replacing Mickey's Toontown Fair. Mickey's Toontown Fair closed on February 11, 2011, with Storybook Circus opening in phases throughout 2012. The Barnstormer remained, now known as the Barnstormer starring the Great Goofini. Dumbo the Flying Elephant were added to the Miniland, doubling the ride's capacity at the same time. Where Mickey and Minnie's houses were, a new splash pad area called Casey Jr. Soakin' Splash opened, themed to Dumbo. And the judge's tent was repurposed to become Pete's Silly Slideshow, allowing guests the opportunity to meet Daisy, Minnie, Donald and Goofy. Finally, the County Bounty tent was repurposed to become Big Top Souvenirs, still a store. Mickey's Birthdayland was set to only be a temporary land to celebrate Mickey's 60th birthday, mostly consisting of flats and tent structures. Through its evolution into Mickey's Toontown Fair, some of the structures for Mickey's Birthdayland were repurposed, like Grandma Duck's Putting Zoo and the Hollywood Theatre show tent, whilst new buildings like Minnie's Country House were built. Now in its final form of Storybook Circus, some of those temporary structures remain, like the County Bounty tent and the Petting Zoo building. Yet Storybook Circus as a mini-land of Fantasyland works a lot better than Mickey's Toontown Fair, as it doesn't feel like something that's outstayed its welcome and feels a lot more permanent. But I want to know if you ever experienced Mickey's Birthdayland or Toontown Fair. Or are you happy Storybook Circus exists where Toontown Fair once stood? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you want to see next on the Distory channel.